In this video, we're going to use all-in response on the fly, which doesn't require us to prepare anything in advance and allows us to use the clickers on a day in and day out basis, focusing on our strategies of student engagement and immediate feedback. I've logged in, I've got my clickers plugged in. I'm going to use all-in response on the fly. I'm going to give my session a name, so this is what's going to show up in the reports. I give it a date, just to help me to remember that, and I select my class roster. It brings up the clicker bar. So now I can ask a question whenever I'm ready, and I can use this as instructional strategy and assessment for learning strategy. Whenever I'm ready to ask a question, I can do that. So in my science class, we've been talking about the solar system. We've been talking about the size of the sun as it relates to the other planets, and especially the Earth. And so I'm going to start a question, and now I'm going to pose a question and get feedback from all of my students. So the question is this: if the Earth is the size of a golf ball, the sun is A, a basketball, B, a barrel, or C, a school bus. So the students are going to think about their answer. They're going to click in their answer. You can see the kids have responded. I'm going to end the question, and it brings in the results. And so we had 3 people answer A, basketball, 3 people answer B, barrel, and 2 people answer C for school bus. The correct answer is C, school bus. So I can click on that or check the box down here, but I just decided to click on that. I've got immediate feedback. 75% of my class missed it. If this were your class, you would probably stop and reteach it. I've gotten complete student engagement, so all of my class participated. I've got data analysis, so I'm informed on where my kids are weak and strong, and so we've done some of our key strategies, which are student engagement, exit tickets, do now activities, formative assessment. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to access another resource, which is BrainPop. And I have a question pulled up in BrainPop on proper nouns. And so I'm ready to ask my class a question. Typically, we're going to get feedback from just 1 or 2 kids in a quiz like this. With All-in Learning, we get feedback from every kid when we look at this. So I know I can reteach that concept right there on the spot if I want to. This could be Study Island, IXL Math. This could be Reasoning Mind. It could be a Word document or a PDF file. Anything where we have content to display, we can display it, and the clickers can make that interactive. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to use my document camera. If I already have the document camera pulled up, we would access that. We can access it from within All-in Learning. So in the Lessons and Assessments tab, and then the Teacher Tools, we do have a document camera button, so I'm going to click on that and access my document camera. In this scenario, I've got a vocabulary word here. I want the students to answer this question, so I am going to start this question, and I'm going to use this in a sentence, and they're going to tell me if it's A, a correct usage, or B, an incorrect usage. The students turned in their homework. The students turned in their homework. Is that A, a correct usage, or B, an incorrect usage? I ended the question. It brings up the bar chart. I'm going to click on the correct answer, which was B. And I see that 75% of my class got it right. I'm going to take this a step further, and I want to call on a student to answer this question, which is, I used the word there, the students turned in their homework. How is that used correctly in the sentence? And so you see the Pick Student button here. If any of you have ever used popsicle sticks to call on the kids, we're going to use that here. This is our digital popsicle stick. So when I select Pick Student, Oprah, spell there for me as I did use it in the sentence. And she says, great, T-H-E-I-R. I say, fantastic job. So that's just a real simple way to randomly call on a student and get feedback and have them participate in a different strategy, different approach. I'm a math teacher, and I've given my kids a problem to solve. And I want them to solve the problem. I don't want to give them any answers at this point. So I have them solve it, pencil and paper. But when I'm ready to collect the data, I am going to give them the answers. So I say, put down your pencils, pick up your clickers. The students are going to click in their answer. But just from a real simple standpoint, if I've got 150 kids that I'm teaching each day, And when I give them 3 problems to solve like this, I don't have to grade 450 problems. I've got item analysis. I've got standards analysis data that I can use with my students. And I've saved a tremendous amount of time and collected data that I'm just normally not collecting on a regular basis. I'm going to close my session. So when it's time to do that, I'm not going to hit the X button. I'm actually going to hit close session. And it will bring up a dialog box here, and it says, are you sure you want to end the session and create a report? And I say okay. I'm going to click on the reports tab, and here's my exit ticket. And when I click in here, I've got my data on how the class did. Now I'm going to take it one step further as we close this out. At my campus, there's a big emphasis on standards, and what I'm going to do is I can attach standards after the fact. So I'm going to go under Actions here, and I'm going to go to Edit Key and Standards. So I've got 2 questions that we asked in our quick example. I can click on Add Standards. I drill down to my standards that I'm using in this class, and I select 5.1.c as an example. I can add that standard to the current question or to all questions. You can see it's been added in both places. Click on Save, and now I've got standards-based data. We've gotten great engagement, great data back from me. I've got the tracking and the progress monitoring data that my administrators are looking for, and the students have had a lot of fun in the process.